Antes de empezar, una noticia importante que estábamos esperando darles hace rato. Ya está disponible el primer libro del Topo. Con mucho amor y dedicación hicimos un volumen en el que compilamos una selección de entrevistas del primer año de este programa. Le trabajamos hace varios meses y lo publicamos de manera independiente, lo cual fue toda una proeza. Tiene fotos originales de los invitados, un diseño muy bien cuidado y un prólogo de Sara Jaramillo. También incluye textos del detrás de cámaras con detalles inéditos de cada entrevista y un epílogo escritos por mí. Si quieren comprarlo y apoyarnos, solo entren al link en la descripción de este episodio o a nuestra página web tienda.lanoficcion.com. Si les gusta lo que hacemos acá y si valoran este trabajo, esta es una buena forma de apoyarnos. Gracias desde ya. Este episodio es distinto. Es la primera vez que hago una entrevista en inglés para el Topo. Hace unas semanas fui a un concierto de Blanco White, una de mis bandas favoritas, y a la salida tuve la suerte de hablar unos segundos con Josh Edwards, el líder del grupo. Nervioso y sin pensarlo, le dije que tenía un podcast y que me encantaría entrevistarlo. Aceptó y cumplió con su palabra. Días después me recibió en su casa, al norte de Londres, donde tiene un estudio y vive con algunos miembros de su banda. Josh es sonriente, modesto y tiene un gusto y un talento fuera de serie. Es inglés, pero sus viajes por España y Latinoamérica han marcado su vida y su carrera. Hablamos de eso, de los viajes, de su amor por las montañas de nuestro continente y de algunas de sus canciones. To ships and men, she listens when they speak. Este es un episodio por fuera de la temporada. Volveremos pronto con los episodios como de costumbre. Josh entiende español, pero preferimos hacer esta entrevista en su primer idioma. En la descripción hay un enlace para ver la transcripción en inglés y la traducción a español. Bienvenidos al Topo, un podcast de entrevistas con personas que tienen formas de vivir y pensar fascinantes. Por solear bajo la luna. So thank you for having me again.
Pleasure, Miguel. Thanks for having me.
I think a good starting point is maybe your childhood, your parents, your memories that you have when you were a kid. How were you as a kid?
Yeah, as a kid, guys, I'm a really happy kid. I had a very fortunate, happy, stress-free childhood, and kind of didn't really. I used to play guitar, I reckon, from the age of sort of 8, and never really practiced, so didn't get that good at it, but loved it. And it was in that Spanish style, that original kind of nylon string style, which I ended up coming back to. But yeah, music was everywhere as a kid. My parents played me a lot of great music growing up.
They were musicians, or what did they do?
No, they just, actually, it's kind of just me and the immediate family who plays. My mum's a lovely singer, actually, but yeah, my parents, neither of them played an instrument. So it was, I think, it was more them playing me good music, I think, and always having music on in the background and long car journeys. But music's a huge part of everyone's life, isn't it? So
yeah.
Relating to kind of my musical journey and my creative journey, I think my parents and I and my sisters, my parents took a sabbatical and they organised this kind of amazing trip around Mexico and later Costa Rica and Peru, and it was for months, which for a kid feels like forever. And we missed some school. My mum kind of homeschooled us for a bit, and that experience, I was, I think, 10 or 11, really stuck with me. I was older than my sisters and kind of can remember it all. I think they have more patchy memory of it, but for me it was, just a very influential moment in my life, and exposed to another continent, exposed to the Spanish-speaking world as well, which was really cool. Like the way that, that language is so widely spoken. I was like, this is amazing. I want to learn it as an adult, and ended up doing that. So
why were you traveling? Just for fun, or?
I think my parents were a bit mad like that. So yeah, my grandparents were also really like adventurous travelers. And I think they probably, like on my dad's side, instilled that in my dad. And he and my mum both really love seeing the world. And I think they just prioritized that for us as kids. We were very fortunate, very lucky to do that. But it was, maybe a little eccentric, but was life-changing.
Okay. And then what, like in your teenage years, what happened? What was important? How did music start evolving?
I think as a teenager, I started playing much more. I kind of got hooked on guitar. You know, you see a couple of your friends playing way better than you. And I think it was kind of like, oh gosh, I could get good if I practiced like they did. So it was kind of, playing with friends. And I guess like there was a kind of, I was listening to so much music at that time as well. And I think we were sharing a lot, kind of school and listening to a lot of old music. But it was kind of, I guess, the MP3 revolution time. Everyone had, you know, like MP3 players and iPods starting to appear everywhere. And I think having these huge libraries of music felt like quite a new thing. And I was devouring music then.
Like what?
I kind of went through a real Bob Dylan stage. He's just, obviously iconic, amazing. And I think it was kind of, you know, as a lyrical genius he is, it was kind of realizing that can be the centerpiece of songwriting if you want it to be. And Leonard Cohen kind of went hand in hand with Bob Dylan at that time. I was just kind of blown away by both of those artists. And I guess I kind of listen to them slightly less now, but they remain the kind of central lyrical influences, especially. In a way, I listened to some classical music back then, which was, I think it was like friends playing those instruments, playing violin, that sort of thing, and they exposed me to some of that stuff. And I just remember listening to music all the time.
Mm-hmm. And then, next you finished high school here in London?
Yeah, finished high school and then, I studied Spanish and history at university. So I didn't kind of turn to music at 17, 18. It was a bit later, I guess. And so I got really into it. I mean, I love reading and I love learning and I'm quite a curious person. And I think it was, I think the language was the most important part of it for me, I think. Knowing that I would be able to have that time dedicated to exploring the Spanish-speaking world, which is what you do if you do a language here. In the third year, you go just, the language countries where that language is spoken. And I had some brilliant teachers, some really inspiring teachers at that time, introduced me to like fascinating art movements and, authors and all sorts of things. So it was very influential, I think. Gave me some influences that I didn't really notice until I started really trying to write songs regularly, that those things would end up kind of expressing themselves in the songs.
To that point, you had only lived in England.
Yeah.
And then you went to Cádiz, was the first place you moved to?
Exactly, yeah.
Uh-huh. That was
back in, I think, September 2012. So 10 years ago now. Crazy. And I was 20 and it was just amazing. It was kind of first feeling of independence and that city. I've been back so many times. I kind of think I'll always end up there. I think I'll end up living there. I just fell in love with it. And that whole region of Spain is very special. Well, this time I'm torn. Please wake me if I lose that face. Searching these eyes, there's still fire in the...
That south? Andalusia?
Yeah, southwest. So it's the Costa de la Luz.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, that coastline is very wild. It's, like the Atlantic side before Tarifa and the Mediterranean. So you've got Wales. Well, you do have Wales, but you've got lots of waves, I was trying to say. Dunes, it's wild coastline. Yeah, and very mountainous in parts. And I think, Cádiz is famous in Spain for its carnival, for being a place full of alegría. And there's the flamenco there is very special as well.
And so tell me about that. When did you discover flamenco and how was it? Why did you like it? What did you find there?
Yeah, it was kind of, I think I'd always listened to a lot of Spanish guitar music, so, but never really flamenco, weirdly. I don't know why. I just never been introduced to it. Andalusia is very famous for its guitar tradition. It's kind of, I guess, the center of the Spanish guitar tradition. And yeah, going there, I think it was on the first night that I saw flamenco for the first time. Just after arriving, I put my bags down. It was one of the best singers I saw in 9 months. It was just unbelievable performance. And I think seeing the way, first of all, the guitarists are just on a different level to anything I'd ever seen before, just a level of mastery that's unusual, I think. And I think I was just kind of blown away by the caliber of musicianship and how many people could play like that. It was that, you know, there's, I think, people learning from childhood and learning a tradition that's so rich and so kind of has so much history and complexity. So the rhythmic complexity was unlike anything I'd ever heard. It's sort of very hard to keep up with if you're listening to it for the first time, but as you start to kind of grasp some of them and become familiar with the rhythms, you suddenly start to notice where audiences who are almost part of the performance, where they're placing accents and where the singers are placing accents, and you start to kind of, everything becomes a bit clearer and it becomes less kind of confusing. And once you can start to make sense of it, it's very exciting to listen to it. I mean, after Cadiz, I didn't want to leave because I'd fallen in love with it so much, but I went to Latin America after that, and that had been planned for longer. Kind of, I've been wanting to go back for, you know, like a decade. So
you went only once with your parents?
Yeah, exactly. So it was like planning a trip around music again was the plan. And I spent the bulk of it in Bolivia, but started in Colombia and moved down.
Where in Colombia?
I was in Medellin
You got there first?
That was the first place. I visited the Caribbean coast as well, which was amazing. Really beautiful part of the world. La Zona Cafetera, Popayan in the south, which is a very beautiful town as well, actually. And yeah, traveling overland, which is, you get to see so much. And I lived in Arequipa for some time. I was working with a friend who was running a school there. So I did some teaching out there.
And that was you alone? You were traveling by yourself?
I was traveling, alone, but I ended up traveling with a Colombian-Italian guy called David, who is he's absolute legend, a great guy. And it was with him, he didn't speak any English, so I felt like that was where my Spanish really improved quickest. It's just like all day, every day chatting with him. And we had a lot of fun together. And yeah, ended up in Cochabamba in Bolivia, yeah.
And there you discovered the charango, or what happened there?
Farewell, maroon of light, have you gone at last? I'm lost, not paralyzed, I may never come back. There's no answer in the air, why the lightning struck.
I think with the charango, I'd kind of seen it as a kid on that trip, and so I knew about the sound, and was kind of went there with the intention of, first of all, finding an instrument and then getting acquainted with it and learning it. So I found a luthier. I'd done quite a lot of research before I went. Amazing luthier in La Paz, Juanacha, and it was really hard to find him in the city, but I eventually did, the help of a charanguista called Donato Espinosa, and he took me up to Juan's workshop, and yeah, I bought a charango up there.
But at that point, what was, like, you had a band already, you had some songs, or not yet?
Not really. I had started writing at kind of 15, 16, but my aim during that time in Cadiz and Latin America was more to try and develop my skills as a musician and develop my own style of playing that could kind of then inform songwriting. yeah, that was what I was interested in, was trying to become a better musician first, because I do think when you develop your skill with an instrument, it unlocks so much more, so many more possibilities in songwriting.
But you had some songs already.
I did, yeah. I mean, they weren't very good.
Where are they?
They're hidden away on our USB stick somewhere, I'm sure. Yeah, I think the only people who've heard them are my parents and a couple of friends and people I played in bands with when I was that age. But I think I was a slow learner and slow developer. I like to take my time with things, and I think, I don't know, lots of boys are like that though, I guess, like mature a bit later. Yeah, it felt like that with music as well.
Yeah, and like, tell me about what did Latin America gave you, and why are you so interested in it?
I think going there as a kid was mind-blowing, and I think seeing the landscapes is the first thing that kind of is quite staggering, because it's just so different to anything we have in Europe. You know, the Andes are sublime in their scale, and to see desert was also really fascinating, and rainforest and all of that kind of the natural world that exists in Latin America is very special indeed, and just on a different scale. So I guess there was that. I think that kind of left in my imagination, it made Latin America a sort of more mystical place in seeing that as a kid, and then wanting to go back was to rediscover that and hopefully try and do so with a better understanding of the language, so I could actually meet people and talk to people. And that was, I think, was very rewarding. The way I travelled is I tried to stay in places for, you know, more than a moment, and to try and make friends and get to know a place properly, and that really worked. So like Arequipa, I made great friends, and with David I travelled with him for a long time, and I was studying charango in Sucre in Bolivia for, you know, a couple of months.
How long was the whole trip?
It's 15 months including Spain, so it's a long time to be away.
And so how was Blanco White born?
I think the idea for the music came first, and then the name was something I had to think about a bit more. But the idea for the music was to try and bring together and find space in between the kind of influences that had ended up becoming so important to me, the things that I'd fallen in love with most. So rediscovering Andean music, being there in person again was amazing, having had all of that, you know, influence present through those CDs as a kid, and then discovering flamenco and being so overwhelmed and bowled over by it that I felt like I wanted to develop my musicianship through those lenses, I suppose, and try and familiarize myself with those traditions, and then see what that would do for what would come out when I was trying to write music. For the first time, I was playing for hours and hours every day, and, you know, I had two phenomenal teachers in that time, one in Spain and one in Bolivia. And that kind of dedication to something alongside the language felt like the changing moment, I guess. But like I say, I wasn't really trying to write then. I was just playing a lot. And I think it was taking all of that home afterwards was when I began to try and develop as a writer, because that's its own skill, I think. So, you know, it's a craft. It takes a long time to write anything good, I think.
And so back here, how was that first song, and which one was it?
I think, the first song I ever put out was a song called November Rain, which feels very different to been writing more recently. It feels like, I think I wrote that song at 19, so maybe 18 even. So it's the oldest song I think I've ever released. And that was off the Windrose EP, which I recorded in like a friend's garage in London. I can't remember when, maybe in 2017, 2016. and it was my first experience of like recording. I was, very naive in the process, but had a great engineer to work with, Ben Beheshti, who kind of helped guide me through it all, and I got lots of friends and really good musicians involved, and it was the first attempt at something.
No, not all's been forgotten. Don't you wish you were here? So is this why I couldn't stay? Each word has found its edge.
I really love that song. That's one of my favorites.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? No way.
The moth leaps in the darkened road. The dog lies curled by the fire. It's cold outside. There she stands in the doorway, snow on her boots, red on those lips. Don't you wish it was clear? I've been thinking these thoughts for years now. No, not all's been forgotten. Don't you wish you were here?
I mean, that was the first one we put out, so it was kind of a daunting moment, but exciting as well.
And what's the message? Tell me about the lyrics.
Of November Rain. God, I can't remember, it's a long time ago.
Behind two empty faces, those before us of the race we cannot reach. Your frozen vision, yes, of a river rolled out to the sea. Yeah, Lord, for that tight straight line is out on that shore. A bit of line, a solid wall, you're never to fall. So is this why I couldn't stay? Each word has found its edge. On the ground we know it's vanished and withered.
Yeah, there's a lot of melodrama in it. More melodrama than I would use now, I think. But it feels like it was me trying to write about the end of a relationship at that time. And sort of first love, going through all of that really. Often I think I try to find kind of images and scatter them in songs, and like verses I feel like a really good space for that, to try and create interesting images. But often that stuff makes me think of Wales, writing in Wales, and that's where I was writing at that time. Like staying at my grandparents' place, normally alone out there, so spending weeks at a time out there. I kind of try and search for that isolation, and that was the way I was able to begin, like finding the space to write and experiment.
Blanco White, the name, briefly, where did it come from?
Sure, he's a Spanish writer, but quite an obscure one, Sevillano, who I kind of discovered whilst in Cadiz. I think it was maybe a teacher out there or someone must have put me onto him, but I remember reading some of his work and I ended up kind of reading his whole story, and it was that I found most kind of interesting and moving. He ended up living in England and then Ireland, I think, in an self-imposed exile from Spain. So he kind of fled Spain for political reasons and moved his life over there and changed his whole identity because of that. So I guess the reason why it felt relevant to the project and the music I was making was because of that kind of duality between this man's Spanish identity and the English identity he ended up adopting.
And before we get into the songs in particular, what are like some themes across your songs and your work, yeah.
Each time that I hold the dice, the numbers fade and leave their marks in my hands, where the chalk and dust remain, but lines can be read like notes. She said I'd leave for Spain. She could have known that city's light from the marble she gave me. Some would ask for more, fooled in the silence.
I think each song is its own own individual work, but I often find myself working within memory, so looking back through memory and trying to see places that I've been. And often when I've been writing in Wales, I'm often thinking about being somewhere else, and then suddenly I've done a lot of writing in Spain. When I'm in Spain, I often find myself thinking of Wales, and you end up describing those places within the music. So I think memory's important. I'm often, I guess, thinking about time a lot, and I guess maybe it's not the job of artists to think about like mortality or to try and express, making sense of what it means to have a short finite life, and how do we make the most of it, and what should we be doing. And I think all of that feels quite overwhelming when you think about it, and I guess within songs you're able to unpack some of those things and try and make sense of them in your own way. And yeah, I guess most of it is just trying to find, for me, I'm looking for things that arouse my curiosity, and there's so much stuff in the world that does that. I guess maybe the other theme that is at the heart of the identity of the music, maybe it is part of the lyrical content, but it's more about the feel of the music as a whole, is I want it to tap into feelings of awe and feelings of transcendence, not in a sort of religious way, but in a more secular way. I guess music has always occupied that space in my own mind. It kind of put me in touch with those things. Often it's sadder music that does that as well, strangely. I've never been sure why, but yeah, I think those feelings for me are intertwined with music.
It's true that some words are lost, 'cause you chose not to hear them. No.
And yeah, talking about that, like, tell me a bit more about your inner life, or like what you find mystical, or any experience that has like blown your mind or your beliefs, and what you believe in general.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's sort of, I feel like no one ever really expresses this stuff normally. I think I had a falling out with God at sort of quite a young age, I guess, but maybe older than most. I felt like I'd sort of had a kind of more religious upbringing as well. My school was quite religious, I guess. My parents were, and I feel like I kind of read like Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens and that stuff at like that time, sort of 18, 19, and was kind of like, oh my God, why has no one told me to read this before? And sort of, I think I felt a bit kind of deceived. And so I ended up, like becoming like very consciously sort of secular and more atheistic in my thinking, which I guess like that can affect the way you view the whole world. If you don't think that we go anywhere after we die, and kind of the natural world is enough, and that there's enough, majesty in the universe that we don't need, you know, revelation or whatever, all the things that you get with religion. But I've kind of got, tumbled down different rabbit holes around that. Like, I find science super inspiring always, and science fiction more and more inspiring as the years have gone on. But I think searching for, you know, beauty and awe and transcendence and those things that make life exciting, that's what excites me. And I think friendship and love can all be part of that as well.
Maybe let's just comment a few songs.
Sure.
So tell me a bit about The Lily. And I have some verses that caught my attention. So yeah, in general, what was like the creative process of The Lily and what is it about?
I left a sign with a candle in the street light that shone below, where through the night the people dance in linen and smoke. I still remember her song in my head, each palm in time, every face in that light. As their mouths bellowed.
The Lily, has become kind of one of my favourite songs to play over the years. It's a song really about Cadiz, and this great friend I had there, Lily, she was so passionate about the place as well. She would always tell me stories about kind of the history and how old that place is. It's apparently about 4,000 years old, and you've kind of got city upon city layers of, you've had the Romans there, I think you've had, I don't know, the Thracians or whoever, or like these kind of ancient civilizations kind of building on top of each other. And just trying to write something that was inspired by that place, and again writing through the lens of memory, so that you end up having flashes and images and kind of that feel like they capture the essence of what it felt like to be there. And I guess in the first verse of The Lily, it's about like sights and smells and trying to communicate what it was like to see people having a party in Cadiz, which people do a lot there.
And so then Olaya, it was like, it came after this one's, Colder Heavens and then Olaya. What do you want to say about Olaya? That's one of the hits, no?
Yeah, Olaya is a song that it happened quite quickly, and I remember the final push of writing was I was trying to work out the drum parts for it, and that felt really difficult. I'm not sure why. I was just sort of trying to find rhythms that felt like they fit with the rhythm of the bass and the charangon.
Rest your eyes and stay in the shade. You are hiding over the hill in a quiet, never so still. From Olaya to the city lights, somebody told me to believe in better times. From Olaya to the city lights.
And it was just a sort of push through to 4 a.m. job and just kind of get completely lost in it. So that's how...
How? Like you had the lyrics and you were like...
Yeah, I had the progression and maybe not all the lyrics were done, but a bulk of them, and had the bass line, had the guitar, had the organ, had all the kind of harmonic structure there, but it was the drums that I was struggling with. And so it was like that last push. I just remember finishing at like 4 a.m. and being like, I'm going to go and fall asleep for 2 days now, sort of thing.
From Hawaii to the sea. to believe in better times. From a wire to city lights, somebody told me to believe, to believe.
It was a song written about driving down to Spain, and where I still do. I love writing in Spain, and I just find it inspiring to be there, and it's just so beautiful, and the light is so beautiful there. So it was driving down and stumbling across this place called Olaya, and I've always loved that name. I think it's such a beautiful word. And yeah, it was kind of a song dedicated to the villages and towns of Spain and Southern Europe more generally that are often disappearing, and kind of people are moving to the cities and the schools are closing, and so they end up sort of slowly, I guess, not falling into decay, but something close to that. And there's something tragic about that when it's a place that's really beautiful.
So it's a city. I didn't know it was an actual city.
There's one, I think the one I passed was in Aragon, but I saw Olaya again I think it's in northern Andalusia, Santa Olaya del Alcalá, maybe. But it's, yeah, I kind of ended up noticing that name everywhere, and I just think it's a beautiful word. It's probably a few years old now, and it has felt like people hopefully are still discovering it, I guess. But it's a happier song in feel, even if it's still got some wistfulness. But I think it's been super special that lots of people have connected with it.
Me. So after that, what? It came on the other side?
That was, first album actually. So first, LP.
To the world we're scattered on a trail that was never seen twice, and so we'll walk on while we can, the children of another life. Now they say our time is up, there's a race to the summit's cold heights. You got to work to play the game, not knowing when the end's in sight.
So yeah, what's behind that? And what's behind that song in particular?
On the Other Side was the first song on the album, actually, that was completed. I think I'd had lots of sketches, lots of ideas there, but the first song where I was like, I think this is what it's meant to sound like, was that one. So I sometimes described it to myself as like a gateway song. And I think that was more in the kind of sonic palette and the tones, but the thing that was interesting to me was the kind of the way that the rhythms intertwine, that there's some play between counter rhythms, and the middle eight is very influenced by kind of flamenco by bulerías. Slightly different with some extra additional beats, but to have that similar juego of rhythm, it felt like that's what I was trying to touch on.
I didn't ask you about your singing. Like, how did you discover your voice? How did you learn to sing, if you learned?
Gosh, it's funny. I mean, I'd always loved singing as a kid, and my voice broke really late, so I had a really high voice still. I was like 16 or something. So yeah, I'd always loved singing. I think my voice has changed a lot, which is very normal, I think. And I guess that's maybe who you end up with, the singers that you end up listening to. You end up weirdly kind of, your voice starts becoming closer to theirs if you sing louder or whatever. If you hear a singer, I remember listening to, I know, like singers like Van Morrison and being like, oh my gosh, he's got this incredible power. And I'd always, in the past as a teenager, sung very kind of softly and quietly and I guess quite timidly with a lot of shyness. So I think trying to introduce some more power into my voice was what I began the project with, and to be honest probably went a bit overboard and was trying to do that too much, and actually have ended up paring it back more and more and more as time has gone on, really.
So about Papillon, yeah, what's that? And I loved the video. The first time I saw the video, I was really moved.
Yeah, Javier, who made the video, he did videos for every song on the album, and was just incredible how he did it on like a really small budget, and he came back with these just incredible pieces, and I think that one was my favorite as well.
You my old solitary friend, for you I would wait till the end, just running down the time with all of our yesterdays left far behind. Your debts have all been paid, so go on and walk away. I hope out there you'll stay on, where we won't cry no more.
The song was written for a friend who passed away a couple of years ago, and I think it was one of his favorite books. He'd been reading it very recently, kind of just before he died.
Is it about a jail?
Yeah, it's about like a jail, but I think it's based on a true story. It's a very famous book, and it's like a novel, but also I guess kind of a memoir. And it's a great, great book. You should definitely read it, I think. But it was reading it was kind of, it was a way of feeling closer to that friend. And it ended up just being like taking scenes and parts of the book and parts of the story and then kind of making that into a song, but a song that could also be written for my friend, if that makes sense.
Okay, and so Desert Days.
Time's beat isn't enough to carry the sky over the edge and out of sight, lifting the key to the door. There's a day, there is a sea that can't be crossed. There's a day, that you need is what you lost.
Desert Days was one of the earlier songs written kind of just after On the Other Side, and I was writing in Tarifa in the south, on the southern tip of Spain, where you can see across to Africa, and it was like a really magical writing trip, that was kind of very fruitful. And yeah, I think I just left London and had driven all the way down, and I think before I'd been feeling really stuck in London, like fed up and kind of a bit suffocated. So it was trying to write about a kind of a feeling of suffocation, being stuck in a place, but making the desert the space of the song. So even though it's very open and like endless, you can still end up being kind of suffocated by it because there's no way out. So it's this sort of, like a maze that you can't get out of.
A line says, all that you need is what you've lost, no? Is it related to that?
Yeah, I guess it's so simple what you need in that circumstance. But I think I was reading a lot of Borges at that time, and he's got like a really great short story that's, I think, it's almost a page long. It's really short. I think it's a kind of like reinterpretation of an old Middle Eastern folk tale. And I think it's the two kings, and one of the kings puts his guest in his labyrinth and it takes him ages to get out. And it's sort of, the other king is very offended that he's been put in this horrible situation. So he puts the king in his own labyrinth, which is just the desert, and leaves him. So there's no way out.
And yeah, another one that I really love, this All That Matters. Yeah, what can you say about that? The lyrics are also beautiful. And
Thank you. All That Matters is my mum's favourite. It's a song that came together quite quickly, actually, and it's kind of very simple charango rhythm that I think is kind of simple strumming pattern in 3, I think.
Held at the start, I'm far away, tracing the lines never seen. I don't know how long the clouds were above you, waiting for day to come round again. Far beneath was a mile wide open. The sun was cold but held by a thread.
The electric guitar, which was, I was starting to try and use that more and more as a kind of bed to sit everything on. And the charango and the guitar as instruments, the nylon guitar or any guitar, they blend so well because the charango kind of sits above and then the guitar can fill out things underneath. And when you combine that with, bass, even, an octave lower, and high end and cymbals and shakers, you've got a lot of frequency covered, which is, I want the sound to feel really big and expansive and like it's being played in a big space, sort of, church-like or cathedral-like space.
Leaved out behind, you've more to say. There's light only you can see. I know that sometimes it's the hurt that saves us, waiting so long to be laid to rest. The brightness of eyes and suns collided. I know we've lost returns in the end.
But yeah, the lyrics for that one, it's like there's a wider message about someone admiring someone's creative mind and watching someone grow, a person grow and develop and make beautiful things. And I think there was, just like I say with verses, I often like scattering images in. So there's an image of a protest.
God shut his eyes away, and life went on living, and all that is left for us now. Don't stop believing it matters. Some things won't ever be found.
And then later on, I guess the first time I've ever spoke directly to that more secular message that we were talking about earlier, that even I was trying to say without God there, it doesn't mean that things don't matter, and that's not a reason to be kind of nihilistic. We've got plenty to worry about and lots of things to live for, so we don't need all of that to find meaning.
yeah, I love that.
You remain calling on out.
And there's another one called Kuwayo. That's how we say it.
Yeah, I say it kawaii o.
Kauai.
think
Oh,
that's
yeah,
how you
there's
say
an
it.
O.
I think you can say Kauai or Kauai, which is one of the islands in Hawaii.
Okay.
But that's about a bird that went extinct in, I think, the 80s of that name.
The song of an island, the call of a friend, never again out in the world.
A friend had kind of told me about it, a friend who's an environmentalist, and he kind of sent a film my way that talks about it, the extinction of this bird. But I guess the reason why they'd included it in the film and the reason why it hit me so hard is that there are these amazing recordings that you can find them on Google of the bird. So we have audio recordings from the 80s of the last bird of the species, and I think it's recordings of a male that's like singing out into the rainforest trying to find a female, and it's this incredibly kind of devastatingly sad situation of a bird that, is just out on its own.
Everywhere I run, on every horizon, the words are gone quiet. There's nothing to see. Everywhere I run, I hear only silence. The words are gone quiet. There's nothing to see.
I think, everything that's happening at the moment, and for younger people who are, I think so many of us feel very helpless and worried about the state of things. And I guess like the environmental movement feels like it's becoming more and more relevant to music and art. I think even 10 years ago, it was kind of unfashionable to write about anything political. I guess it's changing a bit, and I think the green movement is so important for the next 100 years that we make some changes and beyond. And I think, it has to start being the job of artists to try and help contribute to a conversation that needs to happen there.
Absolutely. So yeah, speaking about that, a few quick questions and we can finish. What would you like to change in the world?
Oh, I think that's the first one, isn't it? It's just a respect for nature and a recognition of how precious the natural world is, and that we ought to be stewards, not destroyers of it. Yeah, I think that feels like our most urgent problem today.
And what's the most important thing you've done or learned?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't know. I think I might have to pass on that one. I've got nothing interesting. Be nice to people.
It's fine, yeah. What's music? How would you define music?
Gosh, I think it's like, okay, I guess it's humans, at its simple level, like humans searching for patterns and harmony in the natural world, and that sound is an expression of that, and a way of telling stories. And I guess music in a modern form is so intertwined with language. Like, we love lyrics and the way that a story can be told in fewer words through that, and that combination with harmony and rhythm ends up meaning that the story packs a bigger punch. But I guess it's, the fact that there is kind of harmony and that frequency, sound waves can intertwine like that and be pleasing to a mammal is crazy. And it is, I mean, presumably the aliens are making music as well. And but it's it's endlessly fascinating and my favorite art form.
And what's success?
I think I'd cite a friend of mine who is a brilliant songwriter, Josh Flowers, who just released a song recently. I think it's called I've Made It, Mum, where it's just like it's a beautiful song about him being really kind of content with where he's at, and it not being about having, huge commercial success to be happy in your life or whatever that is, whatever industry you're working in, that, it's much more enlightened to be happy with your lot and to go out and share that happiness with the world. And I think that song captures that perfectly.
What's coming up? What are you doing now? What's your near future plans?
So yeah, we just finished some touring, which was amazing for having not played for like 2 years. So yeah, getting all of the band together and just felt amazing, and the audiences were just so great. We had such a great time playing again.
And yeah, let's say something about the band as well. Like, who is it? Who are they? How did you get together?
Yeah, I've got really lucky to play with some phenomenal musicians, and I've been playing with a few of them for a really long time now. Fred Claridge is on the drums. We've played together for probably 4 years now. Charlotte Schnurr on the violin and keys. She's phenomenal as well. We've again been playing together for about that long. And Cam Potts on guitar. A couple of us live together as well, so we love, you know, messing around and playing stuff at home. And I live with Cam and Charlie, and Cam's brother Dom is on bass. And then Beth Haim Edwards, she's joined us on the last tour playing percussion, which was awesome. She was brilliant. So Steph O'Brien played with us before. She lives in Paris. She's amazing. I've played with lots of people. Nick Wallace as well, incredible guitarist. So lots of people have been involved, and most of them are writers as well. So they've got their own projects that are really cool. And I think I've kind of made an effort to surround myself with people I think have great taste. So it's kind of, you know, they're very instinctive players who play with a lot of sensitivity, and I feel like they understand the project, and all the things that they bring to it is they bring their own individuality to it without it ever trespassing on what the project's essence is.
Amazing. So you're working on a new album, song? What's coming up?
I've got an EP coming out as well, which is really nearly done actually. So I had a lot of time off just over the pandemic with some problems with my neck and back, which kind of stopped me playing for a long time. So getting back to writing has felt really, really good. And yeah, so an EP is almost done, and then we got an album after that, which is lots of sketches at the moment. But I have, some ideas of where I think it should go. I hope it's going to have lots of rhythm in it and be a bit more groovy.
Mm-hmm. What was the latest song you released?
I did a piece for a film, actually.
Let's talk about that one.
Eyes Wide Open. This beautiful film called North Star, and their team got in touch and asked if I'd like to do a song for the kind of outro music, and it was really fun. I collabed with the composer who did all the music for the film, and we kind of referenced the script a lot for the lyrics. It was really fun. It was a really interesting process.
I loved it too.
Well, thank you.
So George, I think that's it.
Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you both.
All I need, it's all I need.
El Topo es un podcast de la no ficción. El diseño de sonido de este episodio es de Valentina Fonseca. La asesoría editorial fue de Juan Serrano y Álvaro Guerrero es el manager de audiencias. Gracias infinitas a quienes hacen este proyecto posible. Algunos de ellos son Alexandra Oviedo, Lele López, Valentina Cabal, Marta Wilmes, Carlos Benavides, Hernando Franco, Sebastián Muñoz, Claudia Yanten, Laura Suárez y Carla Contreras. Si quieren unirse a nuestra comunidad, encuentren el link en la descripción de este episodio y súmense con el aporte que quieran. Se lo agradeceremos siempre. Gracias por estar acá.